What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. We've got yet another event overview to bring you. This time it's the Elisa Masters Espoo 2023. So what we're going to do, we're going to run through some of the details of the event, and then we're going to jump into a little bit of fantasy right at the end as well. So let's get straight into all of the action. Here it is, $200,000 prize pool, 8 teams competing in Espoo, Finland. And of course, this event starts tomorrow as the time of release. You've not got a lot of time to lock in your fantasies. Make sure go and get it done. These are the teams attending. We got Mouse, Ents, Complexity, Gamer Legion, Furia, Apex, Harvu, and Fnatic. And there's been a lot of changes, it's safe to say. So we can kickstart over there. We've got Fnatic coming in with 3 big roster changes. Body, QB, and Matties joining the remainder of Afro and Crims, who of course were already there, and Cater as the coach. This team's interesting. I think Body and Afro are going to in some way overlap in terms of roles. So that's going to be a bit of a weird one for me. I don't really know how they're going to fix that one, but I'm assuming Body now takes the IGL kind of mantle coming in towards this team. QB, who's normally been a bit more of a kind of a supporting rifler, but still kind of remaining in and around the pack, I think is probably going to have to play a bit more of an anchor role now, which I think is going to be a little bit more passive than probably what he's used to. He's very talented QB, so I think they've got to find a way to use him properly, if that makes sense. Matties, for those who don't know who he is, super talented individual. Came from Sampi, really, really good. The guy's crisp, right? So I think he deserves a shot in towards tier 1. I don't know how well he'll adjust immediately out the gate going straight into a LAN, but we'll have to see. He's very talented, though, so I think there's probably bits to like, but I think for me, I'm not fully sold in this Fnatic roster as a whole. Honestly, I kind of feels like Fnatic don't really want to win long-term big tournaments. This doesn't scream a tier 1 team right now. This is looking very OG, big, you know, that kind of vibe. NIP to a degree as well. Worrying, concerning is probably one way of putting it. So we'll have to see what happens. Harvu coming in with the full Finnish mix. They came, of course, through the Finnish qualifier. I want to call it ESM is this one here. Basically, as you can imagine, winner of that one ends up qualifying. Ents Academy came second. I don't even think either Ents Academy won. I don't think they'd be allowed to play conflict of interest and all that. Or maybe Ents wouldn't have been invited. Who knows? They're not a bad team. Arak is actually pretty decent. Otto's been around for a fairly decent amount of time as well. Banjo's also been around the block to a degree. And Slowy's had a couple of stints on some decent tier 2 teams. So they're not a bad team. We're not expecting anything out of them, to be perfectly honest. So we can move swiftly on to Apex, who they've gone through changes in their own regard. Of course, Mytha coming in as the coach to replace Cuban, who now, of course, we've seen Cuban move on to none other than Ents, which we'll come back to in a little bit. And Sense being the Academy graduate who's moved up, for those who basically haven't watched any Apex, maybe since Blast Paris, if you're kind of a little bit more of a casual watcher, only watching the somewhat bigger events. This team's doing okay, but unfortunately, they've declined quite heavily since their run at Blast Paris. It's basically, since Blast Paris, the only team that's actually stuck around that top elite level has been Monty. Game Legion have been okay, but Monty have actually remained a incredibly solid top level team. So for me, Apex are one of those ones, like ITB, who've dropped off. Not as badly as ITB, but definitely worse than Game Legion and Monty, is how we're going to put it. I don't have huge high expectations for them, but we'll get to where I think things are going to lie a little later on. Furia, of course, our Brazilian brothers. This team on paper is so damn good, but it just doesn't seem to translate into results. Yuri, incredible rifler. Caserato, one of the best riflers. Cello, also incredibly talented, has played a variety of roles, including IGLing as well, which he obviously doesn't do here. It's a super good team, but they just don't seem to have those performances. So, again, expectations aren't exactly massively high coming in towards this one. Caserato, obviously, there's all the rumors about him going to Liquid and how he turned it down. I think, for me, that feels like his last big chance to go and win trophies. I can't see Furia winning this tournament or basically any top-level international lands. So, I'm worried for them, to say the least. Game Legion, of course, this team has been the same for quite a while now. Bar, maybe, those of you who haven't following, Snacks has come into the fray to replace Shuhei, of course, who we'll get to in a little bit. This team, I like. I like this team a lot. I think Volt, very talented rifler, of course, playing the UK scene, so you got to love him. Kiosk, super cool dude, but also a very talented rifler too. And Ash, just the GOAT coach, the best. My God. What a man. I want to see Game Legion do well. I feel like they've dropped off a little bit. They've been a little bit unstable. but it's basically because they've been going through all these changes. So I still have some faith in Gamer Legion. I'm not fully sold that this roster will do anything and everything, but we'll have to see. I think there's a world in which they can make a deep playoff run. How deep? We'll get there. Complexity. This is the team who I would say from the transition from CSGO to CS2 have probably been the best team in terms of level of improvement. I think maybe Mouse to a degree, which of course we'll come to, but I think Complexity went from being, in my eyes, barely a top 20 team, or they weren't even a top 20 team, in the tail end of Go, and then have come in towards CS2 and are now top 5 in the world, and deservedly as well. They've looked incredible. Lee just playing some of the best CS he's played since like 2019. Floppy, Halswick, and Grim are all stepping up their own way, but JT massively is stepping up in a really big way, not only in terms of the fragging numbers, but also his calling has been phenomenal. So big fan of what JT's been doing, been delivering a lot of decent performances, and the team's been playing pretty damn well. Now, another big change coming in is Ents. Ents, of course, minus Snappy, minus Saw. There's basically no harder loss, I think, to Ents than Snappy. Every other player on that team, Nerds, Madden, D-Hurst, some players, all replaceable. They are all incredible. Nerds is one of the best riflers in the world right now. Some players, an incredible AWPer in his own regard, but they are replaceable. Snappy isn't. And I think losing Snappy is going to be so damn tough to this team. Massive pickup to what is rumored to be Falcons, but it's going to be Falcons. And I'm assuming Saw then is becoming some sort of like second coach, analyst maybe job behind that of Zonic. We'll have to wait and see. But of course, that means they brought in Glaive as the IGL and Cuban as the coach. Now, I'm more excited for Cuban. I think Cuban was insane. I don't really know why Apex dropped him. It felt really stupid to me. And the second they did drop him, Apex then fell off a cliff. So I think, it speaks volumes to a degree. I think while Miffa was already contracted under the academy team, Cuban is better in my eyes. I think he's a really, really sick pickup for Ents. I'm glad to see Cuban back in a top-level team as well because he deserves it. Glaive, however, I have my reservations. Glaive at the tail end of Astralis wasn't great. Wasn't putting up numbers in the server. Wasn't calling a good game. Astralis were an absolute mess. But it's not all his fault. So I'd like to see a Glaive redemption arc. I think he has something left in him, but I don't know. Basically, I think he has maybe a little bit left in him. I don't know if he has enough. I don't know how much is left in the tank for Glaive. He's getting on a bit, in all fairness. He's been out of the game for a bit as well. This is going to be a trial by fire coming in towards this team. I'm assuming he's probably had a couple of weeks boot camp in some regard or a couple of weeks practice with the team. But this is a massive trial by fire on LAN in this sort of stage. And finally, the favourites coming towards this tournament, in my eyes, is that of Maus, Frozen Shuhei, Torzi, Yimfat, and Zershin, and Psychonet Coach. The team that you all know and love. But maybe the last time you see this team as well, if rumours are to be correct that Frozen's going towards FaZe, who knows what's happening there? That's for another video in itself. But Maus coming into this tournament still remain one of the best. Yimfat is the golden boy this year. Everyone wants to cry out, donk this, donk that. Yimfat's better, and he's done it at tier 1 level. At LAN as well. Yimfat is the golden boy this year. There's no competition in my eyes. You've got Shuhei, of course, coming over from Gamer Legion. One of the best IGLs, young IGLs there is, and fragging IGLs in the world right now. And he's looking so damn good. So this is how I think things are going to pan out. For me, if you look at these groups, how they're set up here, that's exactly how I think they're going to finish. It just happens to lie perfectly. I think Ents will win out Group A. No, sorry. Take that back. I will. No. I think Ents will win out Group A. Even with the changes, I'm going to stick with it. I think Ents will win out Group A. I think Gamer Legion will finish second. I think Maus will win out Group B. Complexity finishing second. Fury third. Fnatic third. Harvey last. Apex last. That's how I think things will pan out. When we get towards playoffs, then it'll be Ents v Complexity. Gamer Legion v Maus. So I think Complexity will be Ents. I think Maus will be Gamer Legion. And in the final, I think it's going to be Maus Complexity. And I think Maus will take it. And I'm right in saying it is a best of 5. So, yeah, I think Maus will take it in the end. But it'll be close. It'll be a very, very good game. What we can now move on to, though, of course, is fantasy. What we all love. And you have to pick up somebody from Maus. I've already said he's the golden boy. So every part of me wants to go for him. We're going to go Yimfat. He's going to be our first. Can I pick him? There you go. Buy him. There we go. He's our first guy we're going to pick up. We don't need to look at his stats, but look at him there. Jimmy Shallow, just an absolute beast of a man. I think he's going to be a really sick pickup. I think he'll do really well. We'll see how well he does, but I think overall this should be a pretty decent pickup for the team. We'll see how deep it goes. Then we've got to try and figure out something else. Where else we go? In terms of a cheap one, see, Matty's is so expensive here. That is insane that he's that expensive, especially because his team, I don't think will actually do that well. I'm going to play the cards of teams that'll go deep. So I want to get a complexity guy in there in some regard. I probably want to go floppy here. Can't stop the flop. I think floppy has looked pretty consistent in my eyes. Pretty solid. Someone who can step up in a pretty major way consistently. So I'm going to go with the big man, the flop himself. Then we've got to try and figure out something. Now, part of me wants to go Furia, but their group is so difficult that I don't think they'll make it out. So I think Game Allegiant then becomes a better pick of someone to pick up here. It's rough. And part of me wants to go for, I want to see who's the cheapest. Airax is the cheapest. Okay. One of the Harvey guys might need it to be collected if we need something. So I think I'm going to go Isaac here. Now, feels a little bit weird because part of me also kind of feels like Acorp. I think Orping's a little bit weird. I don't trust Orpers that much at the moment. And also I could double up here as well. I could double up into maybe like a Shuhei. That leaves us with a budget of 383. So if I put in Airax, let's say he's the cheapest. How much do I have left? I have 222k. That's pretty good. What I could do here is then go someone pretty big. I can't go Nerds. He's just not expensive enough. I could go... See, having Nerds be good. I'm going to go Liege. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of Airax and then see if we can get anyone better. No, we can't. We literally can't. How much do we have remaining? 161. Oh, it is actually perfect. Okay, fair enough. It's just about perfect. That's the team we're going to go with. We're going to go for Yimfat, Elige, Floppy, Shuhei, and Airax. Now, this is very much putting all the eggs in one basket, which I don't normally like to do. The only reason I am doing it is I think, in my eyes, Mouse and Complexity seem like the only two solid teams coming in towards this tournament. Every other team has gone through some sort of change in some regard, or they're Harvu. And, you know, Furia, I just think Furia get a bad luck that they're in that Group B. So I'm going to put all my eggs in a basket in the teams that are solid. I think that's probably not the stupidest way to go about it. But for me, I just feel like with all the instability at the moment, I have no way to back whether Ents are going to be any good, even though the team is very good. Game Allegiant still look a little shaky, but I still think they'll make it out of their group. I still think they're better than Fnatic right now. Harvu, no chance. Apex, I don't think I have any chance. I can't see them picking up a win in Group B at all. Furia, I think there is a world in which they can make playoffs, right? But I think at the moment they get a really hard draw because Mouse looks so insane at the moment and Complexity look great too. So I think they've got a really hard draw. If they were in Group A and it was swapped with literally anybody, Furia are making out in my eyes. I just think it's so unfortunate. Anybody else in Group B with Mouse and Complexity gets fucked. So for me, this is the team I'm going to go with. Yimfat, Floppy, Shuhei, Elige, and Airax. We're going to lock it in by the team. We're going to assign the roles as well. But you'll all kind of know it already. The roles will be assigned in a little bit, but it'll be something along the lines of get Elige to have as many frags as possible. Get this guy, I hate to say it, Airax. I'm sorry, brother. Where's the noob role? Where is it? We want one of the rough ones. No, we want, what do we want? Noob, here we go. Assign role. I'm sorry, brother. This, we can have probably, I don't know, what should we have him on? Because Stat Hunter, I feel like Elige would be a good one for Stat Hunter. Support. Yeah, we could have him support, actually. It's not even, because he didn't do the entry fragging that much. Shuhei does a lot of it as well. We could have him on support. But then we could have a T side. No. IGL, we're going to give that to Shuhei. Assign role. Take it, my king. Oh, actually, he's a lot of entering, though. So maybe there's a world in which we can get him. Yeah, actually, let's give him IGL. This is where I want to see whether it's better to do between him and Yimfat. Multi-fragger's not a bad idea. Defender's not a bad idea either, because he plays a lot of decent roles on the CT side. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Maybe we do defender side. Oh, entry frag. Entry frag is pretty good. He does a lot of entry fragging. Maybe we do Elisa entry frag. We do this guy T side. This guy T side, and we give floppy support. Maybe. I feel like support is probably the best one for him. I think support like that. But let me double check. Do we want Elise as an entry fragger, or do we want him as a defender? I think defender could be pretty big as well, because he plays very good CT roles. I think I'm gonna go for defender over entry fragger. While I do like the entry fragger, he does a lot of it. I'm gonna go for that. That's how we're gonna go: attacker, support, leader, defender, noob for Yimfat, Floppy, Shuhei, Elise, and Airax. That's where we're gonna conclude things, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for watching. As per usual, it's been an absolute pleasure once again. If you are doing one of these, let me know your fantasy teams. Let me know who you think is gonna win. I'm gonna go with Miles winning it out in the end over Complexity in the finals, but I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know down below. Let me know what you're thinking. And until next time, take care. We'll see you soon.